Hello, movie patient, and welcome to Film Therapy. I am Brienne, also known as Miss Movies, also known as your film therapist. I am not a real therapist, but I play one on the internet just for this show. And as with every session of film therapy, I have a guest patient, and my guest patient today is Bryan Bishop, also known as Bald Brian. Hello,
Hi.
welcome.
Thank you for seeing me today.
Yes, I'm so glad you could make it.
You should take this theme much farther. You need to come in scrubs, possibly with a stethoscope
Is
around.
that, you know what? My therapist does not have scrubs on when
You're
I go to her
a
office.
physical therapy. You should do physical therapy too, like occupational therapy. I should work on like a squish ball or something like that. Or you can kill the whole nine
What I
yards.
should do is get like some sort of little fountain, and have
Oh
some sort of
yeah, some
therapeutic
chimes.
music,
Absolutely.
kind of like it's
Oh,
maybe
burn some
a
incense.
maybe a salt lamp,
I don't know what that is. What is a salt lamp?
like a salt crystal lamp sort of
Oh,
thing,
okay. Yeah,
that
yeah,
people
yeah.
feel that it's a
It's like a
healing
glowing type
powers
of.
of
Yeah, I'm with
sorts.
you.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never joined us for film therapy, here's how the show works. I'm going to ask Bryan 3 questions about film. They're the same 3 questions each and every time until I decide to change this format, which is: what is a film that inspires you? What is a film or a scene from a film that triggers a memory for you? Perhaps it's painful, maybe it's happy. And what is a film that helps you through difficult times?
These are great questions.
Before we get to that,
Mm.
sometimes I throw out this disclaimer, and I haven't for a while. I am not a licensed therapist by any means.
Is it a sad
Um,
society we live in that you have to actually have that disclaimer?
so if you are having a problem right now, please call your doctor, call a friend, go to the hospital, do what you need to get help because I cannot help you.
Has anyone actually approached you? Like,
Oh, let me just tell you about my emails
oh,
because
okay.
I have probably about 10 emails that I need to respond to of people that have come to me with their problems,
Wow.
and I do my best to guide that, give them
Sure,
resources
sure.
for who can help them
Yeah.
because I cannot.
I mean, people are reaching out for a reason. They
They
need,
are.
they need, sometimes they just need, well, it's obviously help, but other times just
Hmm.
want someone to hear their problems. They
Right.
just want to share, they want someone to listen to them. I
Exactly.
understand that.
Yeah. I want to hear your problems, but
I have no
let's find out
problems.
who.
All right, that's
Let's
the end of the episode.
let's find out who you are, where you're from, all that great stuff before we get into the questions.
You know who oh,
I know who you
this is
are.
for the
This is for
audience.
the audience. This is for people like Star Drew, Jason, Elise, Andrew, and more vids. More vids. I don't know your actual name, so I can't call you by your first name. So there you go.
He's like Eastern European. His name is Morvids.
Maybe, maybe that is your first name, and I
Morvids.
apologize.
Hey, Morvids. Um, this is so great with the Christmas tree behind me. This is fantastic. It feels very
Yes,
festive.
that's why
You get
I
into the season, right?
I do get
You
into the
must, of
season.
course. Me too.
You do as well. You have a party that's coming up.
Oh, that's true.
Uh,
You're coming, but Jeff is not.
no, we're both coming now.
Oh, good,
I need to re up my
good.
reservation,
More the
or however
merrier.
that works. Response.
Well, this counts. You just told me
Okay.
in person. That's the best way.
So I know Brian from the Film Vault.
You know me from college. Did we go to college together at the
We did
same
not
time?
go to
Okay,
college at the same
but I
time, but
knew you when you were in college because I knew your then boyfriend, now husband Jeff.
yes,
We went to college
correct.
together and overlapped by a year or two.
Hmm.
And then you and him started dating, and that's how we became friends. And he mentioned, "Oh, my girlfriend at the time has a movie blog. You had a blog at the time, right?"
Right. I had a
Yes,
blog called Hit or Miss Movies,
yes,
which is why I'm Miss Movies.
and I
Yes.
had an equally unprofitable podcast. And I was like, "Hey, we should put our heads together, and you should come on, and we should do this segment." And that was a long time ago. We've been friends ever
That was in
since. And
2007.
was it really?
Yes,
Gosh, it feels like so much longer.
it does.
Anyhow, yeah, so here we are all these years later,
We are.
10 plus years
But
later.
that's not the only thing you do.
What else do I do?
You do sound engineering, so I tried to tell you how to. I tried to remind you that when you
She's
move your
before
head
our
to keep
pre-production
the
meeting was
to keep the mic
here's
there.
how a microphone works. And I looked at it like the apes in 2001. I was like bashing it. Yes,
I
I
always
am
love
the
telling sound engineers how sound should sound,
that
even
is
though
a
my sound is always terrible. Like if you listen to our podcast, it's
I
awful.
promise you could teach me things about sound engineering because that would be an insult to sound engineers to call me a sound engineer. I am the sidekick on the Adam Carolla show. And
Okay.
I play wacky sound effects.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how anything works. I can barely hook up my own equipment. I mean,
Okay.
really, I rely on others for everything technical.
So you do no technicals except for the drops, is what you're
Yes,
telling
the
me.
actual pressing of the fart
Oh,
button
you're
is
comedy relief then. I
that's
didn't
exactly
know
what I
that.
am. I'm
I always
the
thought you
wacky sidekick.
I always thought you were a sound engineer.
No. Oh no. Mike Dawson is all the technical. Actually, I don't turn anything on. I don't turn anything
So
off.
Anderson is a sound engineer that knows also those cues. The
Sort of.
comedic drops.
He's got. Some people say 1 foot in each, arena. He's got no feet in either arena
Oh,
because
okay. He's a jack of all trades, master of none.
he's a master of no trades, jack of equally none, because
Okay.
he's not that funny, and also he doesn't actually know technical stuff that well.
I asked him to come on film therapy and he
Come
was
on,
like,
buddy. He can
I
hook
don't
all
want to
this.
be on
He can
camera.
hook all this up for you.
I was like, you don't want to be on camera. I remember a time when you had luscious locks.
That's true.
And,
Oh, glorious,
and you should
glorious
definitely be on
locks.
camera. What are you
He's
talking
he's
about?
a handsome fella.
And he's at home with his baby now. The
What if
baby
he's
could
watching?
come.
What if Atticus shows up as a Atticus Cowan? Hey, a new fan,
Hey,
a new
new
subscriber.
subscriber.
That's right.
Yep. I need those subs, guys. Need those subs. Trying to get to 10K.
You should sign up your kids. We should sign up Atticus. I'll sign up Tessa when I get home.
Okay, there
This
we
is a
go.
whole new. You
Excellent.
start to like jingle keys in front of the camera.
Children, you will subscribe
That's right.
right now. Right now, let's get into our first question, which is, what is a film that inspires you?
A film that inspires me. I don't think this is in the traditional sense of like, oh, I find this film really inspirational, it's uplifting, or what have you.
Mhm.
I find myself really inspired by, okay, a couple types of films. One, like a good example is this year, The Big Sick, or a couple years
Mm,
ago, Whiplash. These like little movies that could, and like they're so good.
yes.
And I see them usually early on in their run because I love movies, and I love independent movies. And I go to the local theater that plays a lot of these movies
Mhm.
right down the street from my house, and so I catch a lot of these movies early in their run, and I feel like, through my work on the Film Vault, and through the segments I do on the Corolla Show, the Bollywood segments that I do, I'm kind of like an advocate for films sometimes. Like if I find a film
Right.
that I love, and it's a little film, but I'm like, this is so great. I want so many people to see
Mhm.
this, and so many people to experience it. Sometimes, most of the time, it goes nowhere. Like it's just, all right, well, no one saw that movie, and it's too bad because it's really good. But every once in a while, you get a Whiplash that like gets
Mhm.
nominated for Best Picture, against
Yes.
all odds, or The Big Sick, which I'm very confident will get nominated for Best
I
Picture and
love The Big
has a
Sick.
chance to win,
Get
just
Out
because
is another one too.
get it.
That's
Yes,
an independent
and that's
small
another.
film.
Yeah, like, that's a great example. Get Out, a movie that is for all intent should be a Netflix movie, or should go straight to Amazon. Like these are not movies
Mhm.
that would really garner a theatrical release in a traditional Hollywood big studio system. But when they do really well and people catch on to them, people respond to them, and it becomes a thing culturally, it
Yeah.
inspires me that there is not only good in the world, that like we can defeat these behemoth superhero movies that are eating away at this thing that we love, movies, but also, and there are
Yes.
some good superhero movies. I'm not going to shit
Yeah.
on them just out of
Absolutely.
hipsterness. I love Deadpool, and I loved the most recent
Thor,
Thor. I really like these movies, but
Wonder Woman. There were actually some pretty good ones
yes,
this year.
and
I
it's
will
all,
say
but
this was a good year for superhero films.
agreed. But by and large, the whole tent pole movement, and it's not new, but the whole idea is antithetical to what a lot of us, you and me, probably you and I, love about movies, which is
Mhm.
these little movies that end up becoming big movies just by virtue of the fact that they're really good and people respond to them. So I
Right.
find that really inspiring.
Did you see Three Billboards?
I haven't seen it yet. I've
Okay.
heard I've heard mixed things. I
Here's
mean,
my
mixed. Some people love it, some people don't.
my review is I didn't hate it,
Okay.
and that's it. I have there's a lot of thoughts that the good part about it is that I do have a lot of thoughts about it.
Right.
Not like, oh well, I saw this
Yeah. Big
and
deal.
great,
Sure.
but to have those discussions, Get Out, Big Sick, like these are movies that give you discussion after them, and that in itself is really important.
Okay, so I'm going to give you an exclusive here. Anyone who's listening who's a Film
Okay.
Vault fan will hear this in a few days. But
Oh.
so over I flew to Miami back and forth in the last few days, and had a lot of time to watch some movies. They have actually
Mhm.
some more recent movies that have just either exited theaters or still in theaters, and
Okay.
so I was able to catch up on a few that I hadn't seen. One that you described, Beatrice at Dinner, was
Mhm.
one of those ones that was in one eye and out the other. I didn't see what people saw in it, and it was frankly not very good. But I saw a movie that I hadn't heard anyone talking about very much, and I remember seeing the trailer once. Patty Cakes. Patty Cakes
Oh,
was
I've
awesome.
heard
Patty
I've
Cakes
heard
was fantastic.
great
I
things.
loved Patty
Ray
Cakes.
Drake loves this
That was a
movie.
great movie.
I need to see it.
I hope
I
the
need
girl's
to see
nominated
it.
for Best Actress. It would be a long shot, but she was fucking fantastic. Can we
Oh
curse on here?
man. Yeah,
Is the internet,
I
right?
mean, it's streaming, so you already
It
did
was
it at the
friggin'
end.
fantastic. I loved Patty Cakes. I want to see it again. It was
Okay.
really fun.
Okay. Can you tell me kind of what it's about just so we can kind of
Sure,
elevator pitch it to
sure,
the
sure, sure.
audience?
Imagine I don't think it's entirely accurate, but I think most people would describe it as a female Hustle and Flow or a female
Mm.
8 Mile.
Oh,
It's this girl
sweet.
named Patricia, Patty Cakes,
Mhm.
and she's an aspiring rapper, but she's very low class. She lives in, oh god, where does she live? Somewhere horrible.
Also Detroit,
It
probably.
could be somewhere like Detroit, like she lives somewhere where she is definitely
Flint.
below middle class. She's poor. Her mom doesn't work. Her grandma's dying. They all live together, and that no one's employed.
Mhm.
And she works as like a part-time bartender. It's a very inspirational story. And she loves rap. Like she's white, obviously, and she hasn't fit into this rap world. It's aspiring rap world, but she wants to do it. She loves it. It's a
Hmm.
fish out of water story. It's a underdog story. It's really good.
I'm
And
definitely going to be seeing this.
strong female characters. The mom's got a great backstory. The grandma's great. The star, Patty. I don't even know her name. I gotta look it up. I haven't done the research yet.
My middle name is Patricia, so I
Ah,
could
Patty
be,
Cakes.
yeah, Brienne
Brienne
Patty
Patty Cakes.
Cakes. Yeah, I'm going to go for
Patty
that.
Cakes with the dollar sign, by the way. That's that's
That's how
that's
you got to do it.
that's how the movie is.
I'm hoping that's something I probably is something I can rent now. If you saw it on a plane?
Yes, you can. I looked it up because I
Okay.
want to make Anderson watch it. It's like $4 on Amazon.
Sweet.
Oh, and to finish answering your question, I also find it very inspiring when like a documentary gets made. Often, a lot of times in the recent past, from like a real outsider, like a real outside, like someone's not even a filmmaker. Like,
Mm.
ironically, not a very inspiring movie. Dear Zachary,
Oh
that
gosh,
guy did everything. He did the sound, he did the editing. It was just a
his editing
passion,
was not good,
but
but
it was so passionate. There was so much, the heartbeat was so strong through that movie that you could tell
yes,
like he did it like out of love, for the guy, for the kid, for everyone.
right. I don't think
um
he ever thought it would be something that other people
I'm
would
sure
see.
he did
It
not.
may have he may have just did that for the parents.
Inspiring. The fact that it became a thing that people still talk about is
Hmm.
mind blowing. And like, even remember Code Black from a couple years ago.
Didn't see Code Black.
It's fantastic. It's about ER, emergency room doctors here in Los
Hmm.
Angeles. The guy who made the movie, the director slash de facto star, he's a doctor. He's one of the doctors in the movie. I'm sure he
That's
enjoys
crazy.
movies, and I'm sure he has some sort of passion for them. But he's not a filmmaker.
Right.
He made a great movie. I loved it. One of my favorite of the year. And he was a doctor.
That's how Christopher Nolan started. He
Oh, really?
wasn't a
I
filmmaker.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he didn't like go to film school. He was a businessman. I was
Well,
just like, I like movies. I'm gonna make a movie.
that's very inspiring.
And it's like,
And here we are.
cool, dude. You're really good at it.
Yeah, it turns out you have a real skill.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Because you can't just be good at one part of it. Like when you start like that, you have to like be able to be the producer and the director. You have to
Yes.
be all the hands on deck.
Yeah, the thing that so this information that I've just learned, I'm going to instantly analyze this. The thing that Christopher Nolan probably brought over from the world of business is the ability to communicate his vision effectively to people beneath him. Because when you're the director, like, you can't design the costumes, but you have to explain to the costume designer very effectively what your vision is, and that person then has to
Hmm.
go and integrate it into the film and the score or the whatever. Like,
Right.
very few directors do their own score. Like, they usually have someone who does it for them, and they have to communicate, this is what I want from this scene, this is what I want for the overall feel of the movie, etc., etc.
Very true.
So he probably had that skill. I mean, I would imagine his movies have a Christopher Nolan feel to them, so I'd imagine that he does that very well to communicate his ideas.
I would think he would communicate his ideas pretty well that way. Another person I know that had a business who was in business first before going into a profession was one of the teachers I worked with when I was in Burbank, and I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah,
And her classroom was super structured, and I was like, "Yeah, this is why,"
yeah, you're bringing
because
something over that
yeah, it's very interesting. Business backgrounds, guys, probably a
seriously.
good thing to have, and then use that to go into other fields if you're
At
interested.
the very least, if you're
So
in college or if you're college age, a business class here, or there's introduction to business. It'll teach you so much about how the world works. It won't be such a mystery.
the world is a mystery. What's not a mystery is our next question,
Okay.
which is what is a film or a scene from a film that triggers a memory for you? Perhaps it's painful, maybe it's happy. Now, I have a thought of maybe what it could be,
Oh,
but I'm
really?
not going to go with that. I'm going to wait till you say it and see.
Oh God, I'm dying to know
Okay,
what you
I
think
will
it
let
might
you know at
be.
the end
Okay.
after you reveal.
Um, I mentioned this years ago on the Film Vault. We did top five worst movie going experiences.
Oh, okay. So, oh wait, it's not Spice World because that's Anderson's.
Oh God, no, no, no. Mine is not ironic at all.
Okay.
Um, my I don't know if you ever so if we really we met before 2007 though. We
Yes.
certainly met. Okay, so when we met, I think I was dating my first girlfriend from college. I don't know if you ever met her. Very sweet. But we dated for 5.5 years,
Hmm.
which looking back was like 3.5 years too many.
Okay.
The relationship had run its course, but we were both, I think, sort of settled in. You know how you get settled in.
It's a hard spot when you start dating someone like in college
Yes,
and then
you make
like
that
the
transition.
transition to not being in
Right.
college anymore and you're trying to find yourself and figure out what you
Absolutely.
want to do with your life.
All the
I mean,
cliches were true. Yes,
yeah, so I can see how a relationship would fall through the cracks there and
yes,
not be able to make it through that.
absolutely. All the cliches were there. We stayed together too long, and I think we both deep down knew it, but we just kind of chugged along as a couple for 3.5 years too many. Um, still very much not in love, because how in love can you be at age 22? But we're had no animosity. It wasn't like a bitter relationship where we fought all the time. Quite
Hmm.
the opposite. Maybe it would have been better if it was. It was kind of a relationship where we're both just very stagnant and very very
Mm. Just there.
just floating along, not swimming, just floating.
Mm.
And so, you know, uh, uh, indicative to that, I think we had a hot date night one night. That was like a Friday night, and we rented a movie that we had missed in theaters, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, another
Okay.
another little movie that became a huge phenomenon.
Yes.
And we're watching the movie, and we're having dinner on her couch. We're both poor. She's probably, I think at this point she was probably waiting tables at CPK, and I was maybe screening calls for a radio station. I mean, this
Yes.
is not, we're
Yes.
not big earners at this point. And I think the whole movie's about the wedding, obviously.
Hmm.
And at one point, they're either trying on a dress or having a rehearsal dinner, or maybe it's at the wedding. I don't remember. But I remember it's right in the middle of the movie, and my girlfriend starts crying. And I'm thinking, oh, how sweet. She's like moved by all the wedding stuff. I'm like, you okay? She's like, she starts crying and she chokes out. She's like, I just don't think this will ever be us. And I was like,
Oh.
oh, is this your way of saying it's over? And that's pretty much how
Is
it
that
went.
what
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said?
we,
Oh. Was
uh,
this the night you broke up
that
then?
was the night we broke up. That was the night we
Oh.
broke up in the
But
middle
you were
of,
living together.
no, no, no,
Oh,
no. We
okay.
never made that
Okay.
mistake. The only person I ever lived with was my current wife, Christy.
Okay.
I moved in with
Okay.
Christy, and that was it. But that movie will always. I've never actually finished the film. I assume they get married. But very painful memory that My Big Fat Greek Wedding was my
Aw.
first big breakup.
Yeah, because I mean, before that, had you had girlfriends and how long were they around for? And
I had not, so zero amount of time. It's my first girlfriend,
okay.
and
Okay, so that is a
first
big
breakup.
deal to
Yeah,
have your first girlfriend
and for
be
the
so
first girlfriend,
long,
yes,
too.
for 5.5 years in college
Hmm.
through 21, through into your 20s. You change a lot, but that's the one major constant in my life
Hmm.
at that point, and wasn't meant to be.
What was the right after this conversation happens? Is it like, all right, well, I'm going home now. Bye. Like, how does that work? How do you exit that?
I
How do you exit
remember
the
it was. I
space?
remember it was a long night that did not end in finishing the film or in sex. It was
Right.
just lots of talking and lots of tears. I think we both sort of knew. Um, I think we
Hmm.
both. I think it was both. I think it was we realized. I think it was we reached the bottom after circling the drain for a number of years,
Got it.
which really is a romantic way to put it. Really, the spark had definitely not gone out.
But then if that didn't happen, then you wouldn't be where you are
Oh
now.
yeah, it was. She's married and she has, I think, at least one kid, if not two, and she's
Hmm.
beautiful children, and we're still friends. I just saw her couple of years ago when I went to New York for work for a Corolla show,
Hmm.
and said, hey, let's because she worked in the city, and got together for lunch, and it was wonderful, and she's we're still friends, so all's well that ends well.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it and well, on that time on
Yes,
Big
was
Fat
painful at
Greek
the moment.
Wedding
Was
didn't
painful at the moment.
wasn't good, but
Yes.
has now
And it's a
amicable
rite of
as well.
passage, that first breakup. It's like um hurt at the time, obviously a lot,
Hmm.
but you look back and you're like, well, good thing I went through that, at that time, and
Right.
not, now.
Which is, you went through something that I didn't go through because I had like little relationships that lasted.
Hmm.
I think the most one lasted was maybe 7 months before my
Okay,
husband.
gotcha. Yeah, because you obviously met your husband in college.
I did. I
Okay, so
met
that makes
him
sense.
my junior junior beginning or end of junior year, 2002.
Okay.
Like from January of 2002 to now.
Now,
So there you go.
I've never been happier.
I've never been happier. We made it through those months
See?
of like, what am I gonna do now that I
I'm gonna
like
get. I'm
am
gonna.
out of
I can't
college?
wait for the tearful phone call from Brienne in 2 years saying it was my
We
first
watched
major breakup. We just watched my big fat. Wait, what's the sequel? My big fat something something Greek.
Another big fat Greek wedding. I
My,
don't know what
my
it is,
big
but you're
fat
right.
Greek
There is a
sequel.
sequel.
Yeah, so it came and went and
It
did
should be
nothing.
called My Big Fat Greek Sequel.
That's really what it should be called. Look at my big fat Greek family. I think is what it's called.
Maybe. Was there another wedding in
There's
that? I
got it.
have no.
Someone's got it. Someone's got
Okay, someone tell us what the
it. Yeah,
sequel
come on now.
is, and we will thank you for those that are in the waiting room.
There's a real side conversation going
There
on here.
usually is. There's some great stuff happening in what I call the waiting room.
Come on, jerks.
Well, it takes.
Answer our question.
There is a little bit of a
Of a delay?
delay, so they're probably like, "Wait, well, we have
Yeah.
to."
I
You know.
take back what I said about you guys being jerks. I don't have an answer to your third question.
Okay, let's get into that third question. We'll talk about it. So the third question is, what is a film that helps you through difficult times?
My
So
big
you
fat Greek
don't-
wedding.
You don't watch a movie when you're feeling sad
I don't.
to make you feel happy. You're a music guy.
Yeah.
Do you listen to Oasis? What do you do? What do
First,
you when you're
I listen-
sad? What do you
Oasis
do?
transcends all moods. When I want to feel
Okay.
great, when I want to feel, maudlin, when I want to feel uplifted. There's an Oasis song for every mood. That said, yeah, it's more. God, this is such a lame answer, but there's more about the style of music. You know what I mean? Like the mood of the music. Like,
Mhm.
like I'll listen to some like quiet, like very like minimalist, like
Enya?
no, like more like piano jazz, like
Okay.
a very small trio of like I want to like have some quiet time, or
Mhm.
if I'm getting ready to like have people over, go out, I'll listen to some more uplifting, like uplifting blues, upbeat blues music, something
Okay.
like that. Like it's more about the atmosphere and the environment than it is about the actual song for the most part.
I have bad news to report. It's
What?
just my big fat Greek wedding too. Thanks,
No.
Sam. That sucks.
Fucking Sam. Sam,
It's
you're the
not his
worst.
fault.
But thank you
He
for the
didn't name it.
information. Sam, P.S. I named the film. Well, there you go.
Oh,
So,
man.
what are there films that you go to when you're feeling
When
low or when you need to
yeah.
feel
And I've
inspired?
shared them before, but I'll share them again, like Parent Trap or White Christmas. These are movies that remind me of being with my sister
Ah,
and fun times that we would have.
I like that.
And I don't have to be sad to watch those. Like
Okay.
I can just watch those other times. But if I'm feeling down, maybe I'll put that on.
I will say that I don't proactively put on a lot of movies
Hmm.
for this situation, but if I there's enough movies and movie channels on TV that if I come across something from that I love in my past,
Mhm.
I will very eagerly sort of take
Right.
to it. You know what I mean?
Back to the Future is on,
Yes,
automatically just gonna
something
continue
familiar.
going on.
In my mind, The Naked Gun just popped into my mind because it's just so fun. It's just a fun movie.
I don't know if I've seen the entire Naked Gun
Oh.
series. I know I've
Oh,
seen
you're
the
not missing
first
much.
one.
You're not missing much with number 2 and 3
Okay.
and however many that.
I also have not seen
they're fun.
Hot Shots
You're not missing much.
or Part 2 or either one.
Hot Shots is fine, but I think it benefits a lot from people our age having seen it when they were our age back then, and 13 or 14, whatever it was, or 12, and like, dude, this movie's hilarious. It's funny. I mean, there's some moments, but it is a distant length behind Airplane and Naked Gun and like the excellent spoof movies of the era.
Yes,
In my
spoof movies
opinion.
of the era. I mean, do we really even have spoof movies right now? I haven't seen many.
Okay,
I
so
mean, there's always the like scary movies that have been going on forever.
yeah, I was gonna say there are some that are direct to video and that are, you can't believe they were actually made.
Right.
But no, there aren't a lot of high profile spoof. The
There
mockumentary
was-
seems to have sort of taken that space.
There was one recently that was spoofing on
Paranormal Activity and
was it paranormal? It was definitely 50 Shades of Grey.
oh, there was a 50 Shades of Grey one. Oh, it was with Marlon Wayans, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the Wayans are purveyors of fine spoof
Entertainment.
films. That said, Not Another Teen Movie and Scary Movie, the original Scary
Mhm.
Movie. These are fine parody films.
I have not seen Not Another Teen Movie, but I have seen Scary Movie.
We have a mutual
So.
friend who's in it.
Chris Evans.
No. Are your
Sam
friends?
Levine.
No, it's way down the list. She's an extra.
Oh,
She's a background
okay.
extra.
Then I don't know.
Um, Do you know our friend John's ex-girlfriend Jen,
Oh,
who
yes.
yeah,
Yes.
she's
Okay.
she's an extra in the film,
Oh, oh,
but
what do you know?
prominently
What do you know?
prominently featured, like the climactic scene for people who've seen the film where he's preventing the girl from getting on the airplane. Oh, you've seen the film.
No, I haven't
Oh,
seen
okay.
the film.
Chris Evans is preventing the girl from getting on the airplane and leaving, and Jen, our mutual friend, is right prominently displayed right there in the background. Yeah.
Nice. I'm gonna have to watch this. One day I will watch it. I should watch it. Chris Evans is my favorite actor. I need to watch
Well,
this.
yeah, and a young Chris Evans too,
Yeah.
and an excellent Chris Evans. He's funny. He plays a great sort of dry.
This is his first like breakout
The
role.
first time I remember seeing him, and also our mutual friend Rich Demir was a featured extra in Pleasantville. You must know
I
this though.
didn't know that either.
What? Oh,
I will have to.
prominently
I mean,
featured.
I have seen Pleasantville. So
Prominently
was he a
featured.
basketball player?
No, oh, fuck.
Okay.
Rich? No.
I
Oh
mean,
my
he's
God, can you
tall. Isn't
imagine?
he tall? I
Mm.
don't know. I
Anyway,
can't
no,
remember.
Rich is one of the 50s kids in the malt shop diner.
Okay.
He again
Okay.
featured prominently right over the shoulder of, I believe, Tobey Maguire. He was right over the shoulder in many shots. He was a
Gotta go
featured
back.
extra.
I gotta go back.
You could probably that's one of those ones you could probably Google image search because
Oh, there you
he's
go.
so prominent.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Anyway, here's what we're going to do next. While I am asking Bryan what his problem is and I'm going to prescribe him a film, we're going to do movie prescriptions. So if you have a problem, put it in the chat and we will prescribe you a film to watch for whatever's going on in your life right now. So,
not real
yeah,
therapy
or,
though.
you know, I mean, these are not real
But she's not a real
therapy. I'm not
therapist.
a real therapist. Bryan, what's your problem?
Okay, we should have rehearsed this, but
Okay.
I'm gonna test your improvisational
Yes,
skills.
test my improv
Um,
skills. My
Be like
improv
an
slash hosting
like an
skills.
actual like problem that I.
Whatever you want to say. Like, I don't know how to tie my shoes. I'll be like,
Oh, okay.
okay,
I was gonna do like a real problem.
yeah, do a real
Okay.
problem.
I am big into self evaluation. Like
Okay.
if there's something I'm not good at, or if there's a weakness in my personality or behavior, I like to know about it, and if there's something that I can address, I like to address it. Do you remember
Okay.
years ago? I don't even know if I sent this to you, but
I think you did,
when
and
I
I took
sent
the
the
test.
personality
Yes,
test,
you
so
sent that to a lot of people.
I did. I sent it to everyone I knew
Yes.
semi well at the time. I took a online personality test. No, I didn't take it. I
You
sent
sent
it
it to
to people
people.
closest to me and Brienne, and I said, "Can you please choose from this list of 50 negative terms that describe me, and thus I will get the anonymous results, and I'll realize then what people think are my weaknesses."
Okay.
And so I did, and I have yet to address them, but I know what they are.
Have you done that for the film vault?
No,
Oh,
how dare
okay.
you? Those people,
I'm just wondering.
those people
Just
don't
wondering.
know me.
So, what movie
Or
you
just
should
send it
be
to Anderson and
watching?
Logan. Just send it to Anderson and Logan.
There you go.
Good stuff. No, you know what though? A problem that I've noticed recently is I think this is probably a common problem for a lot of people. I let little things affect me in a big way. You know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
overreact to a small, almost
Okay,
insignificant
I've got it. I've
problem.
got it for you. Here, for the first one, I got He's Just Not That Into You. You should probably read the book and
Oh, I don't want
then
to
watch
watch
the
that. I don't want to
movie.
watch that.
And then for the
Why
second
should I
one,
watch that? That's a horrible film.
about trivialness,
Okay.
you should watch The Pursuit of Happiness, which you've probably already seen.
Is that the one with no wait,
Will
oh that's the one
Smith.
with the kid, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
where he has the
Jaden
look.
is in
Yeah,
it.
yeah, okay. I've
Mhm.
seen that one. God, I saw it in the theaters. Wasn't he in another one?
It'll
We
just show you that like little things aren't little things.
Yeah, you're right.
You
What's
know,
the other one he was in recently that I did
The
not
Karate Kid,
see? No, Will
After
Smith.
Earth.
Will Smith was in another movie that I did not see
Oh, that one
recently.
that's on Netflix, Bright or whatever.
Oh, damn it.
There are some ones if we want to go through
Let's do it.
and you can help. Someone said lack of motivation. Where was that?
Watch right there.
Yes,
Sam
Sam.
Anderson. Sam Anderson
Watch
says
My Big Fat Greek Wedding too, Sam
that's right.
Anderson.
Lack of
I don't know.
motivation. What's the one Limitless with
Ooh, yeah, Bradley Cooper.
That'll you realize like, oh,
Mhm.
this motherfucker just takes a pill and he gets everything done in his life.
Yes,
Like,
he does.
It'll make you believe you can do it too.
Adam Kennedy says he's losing his hair.
How dare you? That's not a problem.
Yeah.
Watch any of the recent Fast and Furious films. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson kicks ass.
They don't have hair. And Jason Statham.
Dude, Statham belongs on
And Vin Diesel.
I
They all
often-
don't have
I
hair.
often Yes, you're absolutely right about that. I often think about this is I think about stupid things. That's another problem. Maybe you can prescribe a movie to me. I think about stupid things such as who goes on the bald Mount Rushmore? And a lot of people are like, oh, The Rock. And it's like, no, The Rock started out with hair, a glorious head of hair, I'll point out, and eventually
Mm.
started shaving it. I'm talking about like
Famous bald man.
Statham. Statham is a great
Hmm.
example of guy who goes on bald Mount Rushmore because he started out bald and he's been an ass kicker since he hit the scene. Like that dude was an ass kicker the
That's
moment he
true.
showed up in Lock, Stock, and he was in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, right?
Either that or
He
Snatch.
was definitely in Snatch, and I think he was in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Either way, when the moment he showed up on the scene, that dude's been kicking ass. He's been doing it bald, and he was like not shaved bald when he showed up. Like he was just like, dude, this is the last remnants of my hair.
Yes.
So Statham goes on the bald. Michael Jordan goes on the bald Mount Rushmore. He's one of the first guys to make bald. Like there were balding guys in the NBA before him. He's like, no way,
I
shaving it
like how
off.
you've thought of this.
Oh, I've thought of it.
You have.
Statham.
Um, there's Elise says family drama around the holidays.
I just assigned Anderson Christmas Vacation. He had never
Oh,
seen it,
Christmas Vacation
and
is
I'm afraid
great.
we're doing Film Vault later
He's never
today.
seen it.
What an asshole!
Stop.
I know he's going to come in and chill on it, but it's a great movie.
Of course he is.
It's wonderful and it's uplifting. And there's
What's
in
here's his biggest beef. His biggest beef is going to be that the kids are not the same kids.
he was that was his pre-beef. His pre-beef.
Oh,
He's like
okay,
he's like I don't want to see any movie where Rusty isn't played by Anthony Michael Hall. I'm like, well, then you're going to have a hard time with this film.
but it's
So
so
stupid.
so
And
great.
it's got heart too. That scene in the middle where he's watching the
Mhm.
home movies. That's a great scene.
So Elise, there you go.
Christmas
Let's see
Vacation.
who else do we have. I am the go-to guy on movies, and I need a good family film for the kids and adults this
Aren't
Christmas.
all
Kids and
Christmas
adults. Elf?
movies? I say aren't all Christmas movies for kids and adults?
No.
Okay.
Like Die
Die
Hard's
Hard.
not. And
Elf is an underrated movie.
Enemy of the State isn't.
Is that a Christmas movie?
It is. It takes place at Christmas time.
I haven't seen it.
What?
You know
Oh my
what? You
gosh,
know it's a film
so
that I
good.
think people think is for kids, but I didn't get it until I was much older. Like a lot of the humor was A Christmas Story. That's like
Yeah.
really aimed at people who are looking back on childhood, hence the
It's more
voiceover.
for adults, yes. But
Yes.
kids can enjoy it.
Yeah, to an extent, but they won't
might
get a
not
lot
really
of
get it.
So yeah,
Mhm.
Elf is a great one.
You could go with some classics like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the old one, the
Oh,
Frosty
Christy
the
and I still watch
Snowman.
those.
Yeah, we watched that.
We stream them or TiVo them every year.
But let me
The
tell you
Grinch, the
this.
Grinch is great. Not the
There's
new one.
Trolls Holiday is coming out on Netflix. Now I had a big beef with Trolls Holiday
Okay.
because it came up on my Apple TV. And so I was like, "Oh, the kids are like, Trolls Holiday." I had never heard anything about
Okay.
this at all. So I was like, "Let's watch the trailer." So put on the trailer. Trolls Holiday. It's like, yeah, all the original people, oh great, yay. And I read the description. It's like, yeah, trolls, blah, blah. Good. 73 minutes or whatever. I'm like, perfect.
Can
It's
do.
like $7.
Yeah.
So we order it, pre-order it, and then it finally comes.
Right.
And it's like 20 minutes of Trolls Holiday. And then
Oh
it's all these
no.
other things. And I was like, you did not
The
tell us.
old bait and switch.
But there was no indication at all.
I understand with 2 kids, it's hard to do these extra steps, but you got to read the reviews at that point. At that point, you got to read a review or
Nothing
two.
like I looked on IMDb too,
Really?
and it didn't have anything. You're on. You're good.
I'm
You're
on.
good.
Unbelievable.
But so they were upset.
Okay.
However, if you watch it, it's going to be on Netflix, so you can watch it for it's $0 if you have Netflix, and then you can see the actual Trolls Holiday is very cute.
But 20 minutes.
But it's 20 minutes, so
Okay.
just so everyone knows. And some people are like, "Oh yeah, it was on TV or something." I'm like, "Well, I don't watch TV, so I have no idea."
It's pretty rare that a song from a movie becomes so much wildly more popular than a song than the movie. Like it outlasts the movie by years and years. But that Faith Hill song, "Where Are You Christmas," was from the Grinch, like the Jim Carrey Grinch movie. No one remembers that. No one remembers the movie, but that song is in heavy rotation on every Christmas, radio station. That song goes on for years, yet no one knows it's from the movie. Just a little bit of trivia.
Huh. You know a lot of trivia.
I do. I knew that.
You beat the geeks on this show called Beat the Geeks. Were you the only one that did that?
That is no, I was not. I'm sure other people have beaten the geeks, but that is nowhere near as impressive as the fact that I won Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You
Yeah.
led with Beat the Geeks.
Yes.
That's
Well,
good.
because you did that first. Beat the Geeks
I
was
did.
first,
I
and
did.
then you escalated to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire won $100,000?
I did.
After taxes, like 80?
No, a little closer to 60
Okay.
because they tax it like income.
Oh,
Maybe it was like closer to 65,
Okay.
but I wrote like a
But you know,
$20,000
you're very
check.
good at trivia, and you're very good at you. Do you still do the Totally TiVo topical
Yeah,
trivia
we started doing that.
game?
We started doing that more, yes, on the Corolla show recently. It's good because it's trivia and it's also
Hmm.
speed. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty fast.
You're very fast.
Yeah,
You would be good probably at the movie trivia schmodown. Um,
I probably would.
you'd probably be very good at that because you know a lot about
How
movies,
are you?
even
Are
movies that
you
you haven't
are
seen.
you
You
good
know a
at it?
lot about. No,
Oh, okay.
I am not good
Well,
at
then
it.
I'd probably be good.
Let me see if there's any other. Let me see if there's any other things. All I saw, the only last thing I saw from Adam about, is asking about the baldness. It says it's kind of a problem since my head is shaped like a cross between an eggplant and a banana.
Oh my god, that is a problem.
But you'd be very unique on
I was
the
gonna
on the
say,
Mount Rushmore of baldness.
yeah, we'd have to get a special banana shaped
There you go.
rock to carve
There you go.
in your
Perfect.
honor.
Perfect.
Thanks for all your questions, guys, or
Yes, thank you very
comments. That
much.
is.
Um, yeah. Thanks, Brian, for coming on the show.
Star Drew remembers Beat the Geeks. It was a short. It was probably 2 seasons. I mean, it was on Comedy
Hmm.
Central. It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me on. I'm always happy to do it. Let's do it again sometime.
Great. Next time, what happens is if you come on again, I ask you to bring 3 films that have special meaning to your life and to share what those
I don't
movies
even have
are.
one, so that's
I'm
going to be a
sure.
tall
I'm
order. It's going to be
sure.
a tall order.
Okay. Where can everyone find you?
I am. You can tweet me at Bald Brian. I hate when people say on the Twitter machines. Tweet
Who
me at
says
Bald
that?
Brian. Real people say that. You never heard that?
I've
Oh,
heard
good,
it, but I don't hear people regularly
good. It
say it.
sucks.
Okay.
Bald Brian on Instagram too. If you want to see adorable pictures of my daughter, that's pretty much all I Instagram these days.
Aw, she is
She's pretty
adorable.
cute though.
She is
Oh,
adorable.
now I gotta find a picture.
Okay. You gonna share a picture with us?
Let's see
This
what she
is
is. If I
Tessa.
can
She's
figure
a
out she's
year. How
she's
many?
14 months. Yeah. Let
Okay. So she's 2 months over a year.
me see if I can
For
find what
those
she's
people
wearing.
that
That's
don't
fine.
like to do the month situation, that will help you out. My kids are sometimes on my Instagram, not as much as your daughter,
That's true. My
because
daughter's my daughter's on your Instagram.
no, but compared to how what you have on
All right, this is
yours.
this is how I found her
Okay,
this
let's see.
morning. This is how I found her this morning in the crib. Lovey on her
Oh,
head, reading a book. Like she intentionally did that. She did that to herself. She's like, "Hi, Daddy."
that is
I know.
hilarious.
Then she took it off. Hi, what a
Oh,
sweetheart.
she's so cute.
I know.
She's so cute.
Anyway,
Anyways, you guys can find me on Twitter at Miss Movies, Instagram Miss underscore Movies. Couldn't get that original one.
uh,
Sadly.
who does the person who has Miss Movies use it?
It's a private account
Oh,
and they don't have much,
you should
but
offer him like
that's
50
okay.
bucks.
I don't know. I don't know if it really matters to me.
Oh, okay, I say if it doesn't
So
matter to you, then it doesn't
yeah.
matter.
So there you go. Thank you all for joining us. I will see you next time. Bye. 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 Bye.